The ancient world, fraught with uncertainty and the caprice of nature, often saw the rise and fall of civilizations dictated by the very earth beneath their feet. In this epoch, a profound narrative unfolded, one that speaks of divine foresight, human ingenuity, and the enduring bonds of family. It is the story of Joseph, his kin, and the monumental famine that reshaped the destiny of Egypt and the nascent nation of Israel. The journey from Canaan was arduous, yet filled with a desperate hope. Jacob, now known as Israel, led his entire household, a multitude of 70 souls, across the arid lands towards the fertile embrace of Egypt. They came not as conquerors, but as refugees, driven by the relentless grip of a famine that had withered their ancestral lands. With them, they brought all their worldly possessions, their vast flocks and herds, the very foundation of their nomadic wealth, and all the goods they had acquired in Canaan. This was no small migration, but the movement of an entire clan, seeking succor in a foreign land under the protection of one of their own. Their destination, chosen by Joseph, was the verdant region of Goshen, a land renowned for its rich pastures. Joseph, now the esteemed vizier of Egypt, wasted no time in informing Pharaoh of his family's arrival. He presented the news with the gravity it deserved, acknowledging the profound implications of such a large, distinct group settling within the kingdom's borders. Pharaoh, ever mindful of Joseph's wisdom and loyalty, received the tidings with a measure of grace. A formal presentation was arranged, a moment of immense significance for the newly arrived Hebrews. Joseph carefully selected 5 of his brothers, men of stature and experience, to stand before the mighty ruler of Egypt. This was a pivotal encounter, one that would determine the immediate future of their entire lineage. Before Pharaoh, the brothers humbly identified themselves, declaring their lifelong profession as shepherds. This was a crucial detail, for it set them apart from the agricultural populace of Egypt and justified their need for extensive grazing lands. They explained their plight, detailing the severity of the famine that had ravaged Canaan, leaving them no choice but to seek refuge and sustenance in Egypt. Pharaoh, recognizing the wisdom in Joseph's arrangements and perhaps sensing the divine hand at play, responded with magnanimity. He readily granted permission for Jacob's family to settle in the choicest part of the land, the fertile region of Goshen. This was a testament to Joseph's immense influence and the trust Pharaoh placed in him. Furthermore, Pharaoh, observing the brothers' robust appearance and their declared expertise with livestock, extended an extraordinary offer. He proposed that if any among them possessed exceptional skill, they should be placed in charge of his own royal herds. This was an unprecedented honor, elevating the status of these foreign shepherds within the Egyptian hierarchy. Joseph, ever the meticulous planner, ensured his family was comfortably established in the fertile region of Ramesses, also known as Goshen, a land perfectly suited for their pastoral way of life. The culmination of these events was the momentous meeting between Pharaoh and Jacob, the patriarch himself. Pharaoh, with due respect for Jacob's advanced age and the wisdom he embodied, welcomed him into his presence. In a gesture of profound spiritual significance, Jacob, the venerable patriarch, bestowed a blessing upon the mighty Pharaoh, a blessing from the God of his fathers. Pharaoh, intrigued by the old man's presence, inquired about the length of his days. Jacob's response was poignant and reflective, a summation of a life marked by both divine favor and profound hardship. He recounted his journey of 130 years, describing them as few and hard, a testament to the trials and tribulations he had endured. This meeting solidified the covenant between the two leaders, ensuring the safety and provision for Jacob's family. True to his word and his unwavering commitment to his family, Joseph diligently provided sustenance for his father, his brothers, and their entire household. He ensured they lacked nothing, distributing food according to the needs of each family member, from the eldest patriarch to the youngest child. This act of provision was not merely a duty, but a profound expression of love and responsibility, securing their survival in a time of widespread scarcity. As the years of famine progressed, its grip tightened relentlessly across the land. The initial scarcity deepened into a pervasive crisis, affecting not only Egypt but also the surrounding regions, including Canaan. The once bountiful granaries of Egypt, managed by Joseph, became the sole beacon of hope in a world consumed by hunger. Joseph's strategy for managing this unprecedented crisis unfolded in distinct, calculated stages, each designed to preserve life while consolidating Pharaoh's power. The first stage of economic exchange for food began with the most common medium of transaction: money. People from all corners of Egypt, and even from neighboring lands, flocked to Joseph, offering their silver and gold for grain. Joseph meticulously collected all the money that flowed into Egypt, channeling it directly into Pharaoh's treasury. This initial phase saw vast sums accumulate, demonstrating the immense wealth of the Egyptian populace. However, even the deepest coffers eventually run dry, and in time the money of the people was exhausted. With their currency depleted, the desperate populace faced a new dilemma. Joseph, anticipating this, initiated the second stage of exchange. When the people could no longer offer money, they began to offer their livestock. Herds of cattle, flocks of sheep, goats, and donkeys were brought to Joseph in exchange for the life-sustaining grain. This exchange of livestock for his sustenance further enriched Pharaoh, as his royal herds swelled with the animals of his subjects. The people, though losing their valuable assets, were kept alive, their immediate hunger assuaged. This phase underscored the growing dependence of the populace on Pharaoh's provision. The famine, however, showed no signs of abating, pushing the people to the brink of utter destitution. With their money gone and their livestock surrendered, they had little left to offer. This led to the third and most drastic stage of economic exchange: the surrender of land and ultimately themselves. Driven by the primal instinct for survival, people were forced to sell their most precious possession, their land. Field by field, parcel by parcel, the fertile soil of Egypt passed from private ownership into the hands of Pharaoh. This was a profound shift, transforming the agrarian landscape of the entire nation. Finally, with no other recourse, the people offered themselves. They sold themselves into servitude, becoming Pharaoh's slaves in exchange for food. Their plea was simple and heartbreaking: buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we will be servants to Pharaoh. This act of self-preservation, born of extreme desperation, cemented Pharaoh's absolute dominion over his subjects. Through these carefully orchestrated stages, Joseph systematically acquired all the Egyptian farmland for Pharaoh. The vast agricultural wealth of the nation, once distributed among many, now belonged solely to the crown. This monumental transfer of ownership fundamentally altered the social and economic structure of Egypt. Consequently, the people of Egypt, having sold their land and themselves, became Pharaoh's slaves. This was a complete transformation of their status, from independent landowners to subjects bound to the royal household. Their lives and livelihoods were now entirely dependent on Pharaoh's will and Joseph's management. A notable exception to this sweeping acquisition was the land belonging to the priests. Joseph, with Pharaoh's approval, ensured that the priests' lands were not acquired. They received a regular allowance from Pharaoh, ensuring their sustenance and preserving their unique status within Egyptian society. This exemption highlighted the respect accorded to the priestly class and their vital role in the kingdom. Having secured the people's survival and consolidated Pharaoh's power, Joseph then issued a decree that would become a lasting law in Egypt. He ensured that the people, though now servants of Pharaoh, would not be left without means. His decree stipulated that a fifth of the harvest, 20%, would be rendered to Pharaoh as tribute. In return for their labor and their land, the people were permitted to retain the remaining 4/5 of the harvest. This substantial portion was for their own sustenance and for seed to plant the following year, ensuring their continued survival and the productivity of the land. It was a pragmatic solution, balancing Pharaoh's authority with the people's basic needs. The people, having been saved from certain death, expressed profound gratitude to Joseph. They acknowledged his pivotal role in preserving their lives, recognizing that his wisdom and foresight had delivered them from the clutches of starvation. Their words were a testament to his extraordinary leadership during an unprecedented crisis. This arrangement, born out of the famine, became a lasting law throughout the land of Egypt. From that day forward, a fifth of the produce of the land belonged to Pharaoh, a testament to Joseph's economic reforms and the enduring legacy of the famine years. This system ensured Pharaoh's continued wealth and the stability of the kingdom. As the years passed and the famine eventually receded, Jacob, the venerable patriarch, felt the approach of his final days. His life, marked by divine encounters, familial strife, and arduous journeys, was drawing to a close. With the wisdom of age and the certainty of his heritage, he summoned Joseph for a solemn request. Jacob's deathbed wish was deeply rooted in his faith and his ancestral covenant. He implored Joseph to promise that he would not be buried in Egypt, the land of their temporary refuge. His heart yearned for the land of his fathers, the promised land of Canaan. He specifically requested burial in the cave of Machpelah, alongside Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, and Leah. This was not merely a desire for a specific burial site, but a profound affirmation of his identity and his belief in the divine promise of a homeland for his descendants. His spirit longed to rest with his ancestors, awaiting the fulfillment of God's covenant. Joseph, ever the dutiful and loving son, readily pledged to fulfill his father's sacred request. He swore an oath to Jacob, promising to carry his body from Egypt to the land of Canaan, ensuring his final resting place would be among his kin. This promise underscored the deep bond between father and son, and Joseph's unwavering respect for his heritage. The narrative of Joseph's family in Egypt and his management of the famine is rich with overarching themes that resonate through the ages. It is a profound exploration of family, its complexities, its betrayals, and ultimately, its enduring power to heal and unite. The journey from fractured brotherhood to a reunited family under Joseph's care is a testament to forgiveness and reconciliation. Survival stands as a central pillar of this story, not merely the physical survival of individuals, but the preservation of an entire lineage destined for greatness. The famine, a force of nature, tested the limits of human endurance, yet through divine intervention and human wisdom, life prevailed. It highlights the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversity. The economic hardship endured by an entire nation, and Joseph's innovative, albeit drastic reforms offer a compelling study of governance during crisis. The transformation of Egypt's economic and social structure under Joseph's hand demonstrates the profound impact of leadership in times of scarcity. It speaks to the delicate balance between power, provision, and the welfare of the populace. Above all, the narrative powerfully illustrates the fulfillment of divine promises. From Joseph's prophetic dreams to Jacob's blessing of Pharaoh, and the ultimate preservation of the chosen family, the hand of providence is evident throughout. It is a testament to a God who works through human agents, guiding events to bring about His ultimate purpose, ensuring the continuity of His covenant and the eventual emergence of a nation.